All right. Hello. Welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom. You're here with George as well. Hey, George.
How you guys doing? Ben, thank you for giving me the shout out just like that.
George is going to have some gloating to do because I have to tell you, this week went exactly as he predicted it would on last Friday's stream. So he was spot on. And I'm still very optimistic. I think you're going to see the charts look good, but we're going to go through. There was a lot of news this week for Bitcoin miners. There's a lot of AI news affecting the Bitcoin miners. And September is not what everybody thinks it is. And we're going to talk about what's going to happen in the fourth quarter. But first, if everybody could please smash the like button, hit the thumbs up. Let's get this thing going. We got 11 likes. We need to get 100. So
It'd be interesting to see if this is when people should be watching, Tom.
there is no doubt, but they've driven the retail investor into a frenzy, and a lot of people have abandoned ship. I don't get it.
Well, you know what's interesting is on Tuesday, was it Tuesday stream? I said that I broke past the number that I had in, was it July? And it took it right back, and then bam, they dropped it again.
They did. I had, probably many of us had the same experience. I had my account get to an all-time new high, only to pull back from there.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about the pullback. I'll go through a few. My biggest position in my entire portfolio, and it's not the stock I've bought the most. It's just from a dollar standpoint, it's gone up so drastically that IREN is now by far my largest position. IREN had a very bad day yesterday, but you're going to see, with that said, it still had a great week and it's having a great month. So it's just kind of important. You look at the board over here and you see a little bit of green and a lot of red, but the reality is September's going very well, and I just don't think people get it. I don't think they realize that it's going. I know a lot of you do, and I see a lot of our members in here, and we've talked about it. And I know a lot of you must have made a lot of money in the last 100 days. I mean, this has been an epic run. And I think there's a lot more to go. So not financial advice, but I think we haven't even started what's coming. And what's happened so far, I don't think has anything to do with Bitcoin. This is all AI hype. And that hasn't even started yet. So I'm optimistic times 2. I'm more bullish probably than I've ever been right now on the Bitcoin miners, on Bitcoin. For me, on XRP, I haven't done my due diligence on a lot of the other altcoins, so I have to claim ignorance, but we can talk and drop some comments in the chat if you've got some altcoins you're interested in. And George obviously does a lot deeper dive into all that, so he knows more about the altcoins than I do. What are you thinking, George? What's on your mind?
I'm thinking this is normal. This is, your hedge funds having to report in the third quarter. That's what this is all about right now. And I think we got 2 more. We got 2 more days?
Got 2 more days.
We got 2 more days, and then that shakes out. And I would imagine we'll have a great Wednesday, Thursday of next week. But I still think it's going to shake out a little bit. But here's the thing. Somebody might jump the gun early. I'm telling you, though, I have a feeling that this is going to be a rocket ship.
The cryptocurrency side of it, the Bitcoin miner side of it, both?
No, I think, when I talk about the rocket ship, I think BTC, I think there's a lot of built up pressure on BTC. And I think the people that have been doing their games, their shenanigans by suppressing the price, I think all bets are off on the fourth quarter, and I don't think they can control it. They tried to get it down to less than $100,000. The best they got was, I saw 108.9. You know, it might go down a little bit more, but I don't see it breaking 100, Tom.
I'm going to go to the 1 day just so people can take a look. We've had this line. This is what you called out. This line started on July 4th. We touched this somewhere just above 107,000. We retested this 3 out of 4 days at the end of August and the beginning of September. We haven't gotten back there since. We also have a line of support at 108,388. That looks like it's held yesterday and today. And you know what? If there's a little dip over the weekend and we bounce off of this line, I do think we're just about done. We talked about the fact that we had a bearish crossover. So to me, this stuff looks really encouraging. We had a bearish crossover. We're 1, 2, 3, 4 days into it. By the end of the weekend, we'll be 5, 6 days into it. Monday will be the 7th day. Somewhere in that range, I think it's reasonable to assume that the bears run out of steam and the ship turns around and we hit bottom and we start going back up. That corresponds with the end of September, the end of the quarter. Our daily RSI is as low as it's been in 6 months. So I think that counts as pretty much a full reset on the daily RSI. So I think everything, the one thing that I would add that you did talk about, George, last time, and I think there's a danger of, I think they could take that momentum, that downward momentum in the last weeks here of September and carry it into the first few days of October to really put that last piece of fear and scare away the last retail investors. But from there, I think it's on.
Yeah, and you know what? I think if you think about it, Tom, you know, come Wednesday when this quarter's done, okay, everybody's talking like you, like, oh, we're going to be able to push it down and hold it down. But the problem is, everybody knows BTC is going nuts in the fourth quarter. Everybody knows what's coming, okay? Nothing's stopping the train. It's coming. Nothing is changing the stuff. And I got bad news to tell the UK. But there's just some major stuff that was just announced today. It's just most disturbing stuff, but it's coming anyways. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Whether we like it, agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. It's still coming.
I'm not up to date on the UK news of the day. I know
you're
there's been
not.
turbulent times over there in general. We have some people on the stream from the UK. And George, I know you keep yourself up to date on the.
Tim, I have to tell you something that's funny. Is when we were getting destroyed back in like 23, Tom.
Yeah.
I was the biggest idiot out there. How does George make any money in doing this? He's a freaking idiot. You don't know what he's talking about. And you have to realize there's people out there, hedge funds, that they put people in your chat. So they're, hi guys, how you doing? They're in our chat right now saying stuff. And they don't want you guys to make money, and they're going to scare you out as much as they possibly can. But the future is Bitcoin, and we all know that.
I agree, and I see
Manny, yes.
I see no catalyst to the downside. I only see continued adoption. We're going to go through a bunch of stories again, as we do every single stream, on new forms of adoption and predictions of where we're going from here. And I want to read one article that really is staggering. If you extrapolate out the ramifications of what this person thinks, it's staggering. I would just go so far as to say they may be more bullish than Michael Saylor as far as the Bitcoin price. So there's some serious bulls out there. I don't see anybody long-term bearish on Bitcoin. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't see a crypto winter happening. I know,
Peter, what's his name?
Oh, Peter Schiff, who's
yeah.
Well, he's a hater.
I know.
You're always gonna find those couple of haters. But hello, Karen. Welcome. And hello, JD and Robert and Barry and Sour Melon Gaming and Ethan and any other members that are on here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
I
on
will
the
tell you,
Friday
I,
stream.
I, I can't, I'm going to give you guys code words as much as I possibly can. I can't talk about the next thing. If I do, we'll get shot down. But watch watch the UN today. They had an interesting talk with a person that talked today, and it's very interesting. And I advise everybody to watch that. That could change all my predictions right now if they do what they say they're going to do.
I guess I'm gonna have to look that one up on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah,
That's
it's just these are world events that, happen, and there's nothing that we can do, anybody on the stream or any of us can do to change it. No, I don't talk about that guy, Barry. There's no reason to.
that show's over.
Yeah, I must have got a lot of people because of that. Oh, hey, they So Tom, what's the best deal of the week?
Well, we're gonna let the people decide. There's still one stock that I think is a raging buy. I do think a lot of these, I think most of these are going way up from here. But there's one that is just acting very peculiar, and I think it's got massive, massive room to the upside. So I will sometime in the next 5 minutes, maybe we'll get. Well, let's take a poll and see what you guys think. You have 4 choices.
As Tom does that, you guys all know I'll bet my last $100 that we're gonna have a strategic reserve for Bitcoin before the end of the year. I would bet my last $100 on that. And we got 3 months to go. My anticipation is sometime in November that's gonna happen because that just changes the whole game for everybody. I think it changes the game for Bitcoin. I think that at the same time they announced that they gotta shore up some stuff with CleanSpark and maybe they're gonna announce something with CleanSpark, ABTC, and Mara. But something's gonna happen with those guys, whether it's an investment from the government or in one case, it could be an all, in consolidation, so to speak. But I don't see that happening that way. That could be real interesting. I think the fourth quarter is made for Mara. Just so you guys know, I think Mara is going to have the best fourth quarter.
Well, that's one of the choices up there. So I just put 4 choices up there. Which stock has the most upside for Q4 2025? Is it CleanSpark, Marathon, IREN, Cipher? And Cipher had some really big news. IREN had some news. CleanSpark had some news. Marathon has been pretty slim on news lately. So those are the 4 choices we'll go with for now, and we'll see what you guys think, and then I'll let you know what I'm thinking. And George, you're saying Marathon.
Yeah, I'm saying Marathon. I think they have suppressed the snot out of Marathon this year, and I'm in shock how well they've done it. You got to remember, a lot of people lost a ton of money on Marathon.
Right. No doubt.
Easy. I know that's an easy pick. That's why I said it. Sleazy, broccoli. I mean, this has to. I mean, Tom, I have my largest holding in Marathon, and I am down the largest amount of money on Marathon, and all I've done is buy more. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. It's not my largest holding only because it's down while at the same time I'm up like 550% on IREN. So just monetarily speaking, IREN is now a larger position, but I hold more shares of Marathon. And, I've dollar cost averaged in for a lot longer period of time. My IREN deal was all on one day. I just went big on one day, and it was in the $6 range. So that's my cost basis. And obviously, it tanked. Here's to put it in perspective. IREN tanked today, down almost 10% to $41.86. I bought it for $6 150 days ago. So IREN is on a vicious run, and at the same time, it's on a nice pullback from its recent highs over the last week. So it could very well run, from here. We've had Sour Melon Gaming, I believe, is on record as saying IREN to 100. Was that you, Sour Melon Gaming? Let me know.
It was him. I think but let's be honest. How can ABTC be higher than Marathon right now, right? Isn't it higher?
They're almost the identical market cap. So that's one of the things we like to look at here, is because stock price to a certain extent is irrelevant. You can track the stock price, but there's a lot of variables in there, the main one of which is how much stock dilution. Now, the Bitcoin miners have done very little stock dilution in 2025. They went crazy with stock dilution in 2024. So there's been a total reversal on that. But the fact is, yes, if you look at ABTC, and they had some news, so I'll go to their news just so we can talk about them. They did not have big news, but American Bitcoin miner appoints KPMG as their new auditor. So that is a big four. That's one of the big dogs. So I do think that, that is an effort to lend credibility to what they're doing. It does help to have, a PricewaterhouseCoopers or a KPMG as your auditor. Obviously, it's not the most important thing in the world, but, people are going to have a hard time saying that their balance sheet and income statement, are shaky when KPMG has signed off on it. So I thought that was a good move on their part. And they hold right now, and there's not a lot of information out on them, but they hold, I got to check my notes. They have 2,443 Bitcoin and 24 exahash. Marathon has 60 exahash and 52,000 Bitcoin. And they're the same market cap. The same. So, I mean, you guys do whatever math you want to do with that, but to me, there is no sense in that. It's madness. I mean, Marathon's market cap, I'm not even sure Marathon's market cap is equal to its value of Bitcoin. It's probably just about 1-to-1 with its value of Bitcoin, which means the entire company is being priced at zero.
Gary and Sauer, I'm going to tell you something. Wall Street does hate miners. They hate pure miners. But you know what Wall Street likes? Making money. And knowing that strategic, they know when the strategic reserve's coming, okay? I don't know, but these guys know. You got to think they know when it's coming. You know what I mean? You don't think that they have, hey, Trump's going to do that at the beginning of November, or whatever. And I think this was a setup. And you're right. I did think a Marathon would do a lot better than it's been. Oh, they're terrible. Listen, I don't care for the CEO of Marathon, Fred, at all. He's not my cup of tea. But you know who he is? You can tell that the hedge fund dudes like him. If the retail guys hate him, the hedge fund guys, usually like him.
I mean,
and right, and that's the people that have to like him.
Here's the easy test. Go to Marathon, and this is on Yahoo, and they're actually a little bit behind some other websites, but it's just easier to navigate. Who's the biggest holder of Marathon? BlackRock has almost 15% interest in Marathon. Vanguard, 11% interest in Marathon. State Street, 3.6%. So you can see BlackRock and Vanguard are in. This company's not failing.
Right.
It's
and it's really funny, Tom? Vanguard has not opened their portfolio to allow them to buy a Bitcoin.
Yeah, Vanguard literally won't even let their $10 trillion of money under management buy a Bitcoin ETF. Never mind buy a Bitcoin. They won't even let them buy a Bitcoin ETF yet. They're the largest or second largest holder in all the major Bitcoin miners.
Thank you. And does that make sense, anyone? Can anybody explain that logic to me? I would love that, especially knowing who the CEO is of Vanguard and what he did. You guys don't see the setup? Oh my God, it's so there.
It's
Guys, this is going to be, I have a feeling the next 2 quarters are going to be so much fun. It's not even funny. At least it will be for me.
and Gary's point now, we've been predicting Marathon all year.
Oh, I predicted it. Yep.
And we've been wrong all year. And so have I. But here's the thing. This is why I don't try to time the market.
Right.
I don't know when they're going to do their thing. And let's be honest, they do their thing. I'll give you an example. IREN just went from $6 to $50 in 150 days. Nothing changed at that company. They're doing the same thing they've always done. So that's just when the hedge funds decided, guess what? IREN's going off. Who's
time for the rip?
Who's next?
Yep.
Well, Marathon hasn't had their turn. I understand they're not as involved in AI as some of the other companies. They haven't been as vocal about it. All they have to do is say the words out loud, like Cleanspark finally just did, and they went on a tear. Now they've pulled back a little bit off. They were over $15 a few days ago. So I had some $15 calls, and this thing was sitting there in the $9 range for months and months. And I'm thinking, wow, that is never going to get to 15. And then boom, 1 week, it went from 9 to 15. Now it's pulled back a bunch. So is it a buying opportunity? I don't know. You guys will have to decide. But I will tell you. So what you guys picked was CleanSpark has the most upside. 45% of you picked that. Marathon came in second place at 24%. IREN in third at 17%. Cipher in fourth at 14%. So I will tell you, I'm going to double down, Gary. I believe Marathon. I don't think I have like a high level of conviction that Marathon has the most upside of any of these stocks right now. Its market cap is smaller than companies it's 5 or 10 times the size of. Its Riot has passed it in market cap, right? It used to be twice the market cap of Riot, and now Riot has passed it in market cap. We'll take a look at that. You'll see Marathon, if we go to the summary, and again, these numbers are not perfect on Yahoo, but they've been very accurate most of this year based on the fact that there's been very little stock dilution. So Marathon's under $6 billion. It's at $5.97 billion. This was an $8 billion market cap company 30 exahash ago and 30,000 Bitcoin ago. So now it's worth less? Okay, if you say so. Then we'll go to Riot.
And as you do that, Tom, I gotta say something. One of the things that you guys can start to look for, because we're all in the investment community, right? We're all here to make money. Watch how the news regarding Bitcoin miners and AI miners change, or AI, providers. Watch how the news change. So when they want to beat up the price, you're going to start seeing articles about how they're an energy suck and how they're the worst thing ever. And then when they want them to run, all of a sudden, all the articles start changing about how great AI is.
AI is the future. It's everything. It's a $100 trillion total. It's so, and that's right. And you see it cycle from one to the next and one to the next. I think we're at the very beginning of an AI stock bubble. So, and the reality is the vast majority of the Bitcoin miners are now AI plays, right? Bitfarms, I'll show you what Bitfarms just did on no news. They haven't filed anything with the SEC. They haven't put out a press release in months. And just based on other companies' AI. The only thing that they said was, we're switching, and we're going to focus on AI. They have 17 exahash, 17.7 exahash of Bitcoin mining. And they're a good Bitcoin miner and they're an efficient Bitcoin miner. But that's getting pretty small compared to the competition. And they have said, that's it. That's where they're stopping for the indefinite future. All their money is going into high performance computing / AI. So what happened to their stock? It went from 68 cents to, at one point, let's go take a look. Right, it's pulled back a bunch, but
Guys are killing me.
so I will show you. I created this box. I think we're going to get into this price box right here for Bitfarms. So I feel pretty strongly about that. And if we get to the very bottom of this price box, I will dollar cost average in again. But you can see Bitfarms in the blink of an eye from bottom to top was up 180% in 2 weeks. And that's after it already took a run. Because if I go from here, right, this was in June. That's up 415% on basically no news other than, hey, AI. So you're going to get this, and they're all getting it. They're not happening simultaneously. We see them one at a time happening. And, Bitfarms has had a turn. IREN has had a turn. The one that's been slow and steady is RIOT. And I'm going to go a couple of articles of RIOT because people have done a 180. RIOT was the least talked about, most hated Bitcoin miner out of all of them for a year and a half. And now all of a sudden, everyone's in love with RIOT. And I'm going to show you the articles to prove it. If you guys could please do us a favor. We are at 51 likes. We're trying to get to 100 likes. That is our goal. That should be easy. We should be going for 300 likes. We should get 500 likes. That's how much we've been abandoned, George.
I know. We used to get in the 200, 300, 400 views too at a time.
It's madness. So smash the like button. And that's the best way to get us into the algorithm.
If Marathon thinks, they have business advisors, right? And if Marathon thinks that they got to become an AI play, they're going to become an AI play.
And they're going to. And it doesn't even matter how much of it they execute.
No.
In a bubble, you just need to say AI. You just need to say quantum computing. You just need to say solid state battery. You just need to, the list goes on and on. Most of the companies that skyrocket to astronomical market caps in a bubble, most of those companies never even end up getting their product to market, and they ultimately go out of business. So these are real companies that are executing. They're getting big contracts. Somebody just got a huge contract this week and put out a monster press release, and that was Cipher. So we're going to talk about that. They came in last place, and one of the reasons is they're already up gigantic. We're at almost 50% of the people thinking Cleanspark is the best buy. And I can't argue with that. I think it's the second best. I think Marathon and Cleanspark are the standouts right now that I think are just, there's no such thing as a sure thing, but I think they're the safest bet you can get as far as upside goes. And they did come in first and second, both George and I are saying Marathon. And I own more shares of Cleanspark than I own a Marathon, and I've owned it for a lot longer period of time, and I dollar cost averaged in at the very bottom of the crypto winner. So my basis in Cleanspark is phenomenal compared to my basis in Marathon. So
the other thing is I'm down the most money too on Marathon. That's the only thing I'm in the red. Everything else I'm in the green.
I'm now in the green on 100% of every single thing in my portfolio, even after this pullback over the last couple of days. And there was a time I was in the red on every single thing in my
Yeah.
portfolio. So, it's the bottom line is you got to pay attention, because when it happens, it happens. And it's been a nice run, and I don't think it's over. I think we're taking a breath, but I think we've got a lot more ahead. That's my opinion.
Isn't it funny? Because the days are long, but the years are quick. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
Trying to read through some of the comments here and catch up with what you guys are talking about. So I'm going to end this poll. So CleanSpark was by double the winner on this. We'll get back to this later, but I want to look at some of what's going on out there. And George, I know you got some stuff on your mind as well.
Tom, my mind is like a piece of blank canvas.
Your mind's a blank.
I made a prediction a year ago, that in 4 years, you will not get a Category 5 hurricane in Florida. That's my prediction still today.
Oh, you went and said it out loud. I've been quietly counting my blessings, but
Did you see the disturbance that's out there though?
no, we got something out in the Atlantic.
Yeah, but it's not even going to hit you guys.
We could use the break. We've had a disproportionate, statistically anomalistic amount of activity over here on the west coast of Florida. Typing in a poll real quick.
Are you going to talk about your SMLR, Tom?
Absolutely.
It did what I said it was going to do too.
Yeah. All right, let's see what you guys think. So, what Bitcoin's next move, and I'm just talking about the next 2 weeks. Are we going to retest 107? I mean, we're at 109 right now. It's not crazy talk to think we're going to retest 107. Are we going to retest 100? Because that's not out of the question either. That's a pretty good line of support. Are we already at the bottom and we're going up from here? And or we got 2 weeks. We're not that far from our all-time high. Are we going to actually turn around and run to our all-time high? Because 2 weeks from now puts us well into October. So those are the choices.
I just wish I had more money, Tom.
Well,
don't we all?
That's probably a pretty common wish. Just think of it the other way, George.
Yeah, that's true. I think this weekend is going to come and be a decent weekend, but I think come Monday, I think you're going to see some shenanigans from the ETFs and really bring the pain come Monday and Tuesday. I could be wrong. That's not financial advice, but that's what I'm thinking.
let's take a look. Since you mentioned the ETFs, those are always important to be up to date on. This thing needs to refresh. So you'll see, to George's point, 3 out of the last 4 days, not include, we don't, today's results aren't in yet. 3 out of the last 4 days, the Bitcoin ETFs were in the red, which means they had outflow. So there has been a little bit of bearish activity over here. And again, I do think this is all just heading towards, we talked about this that last week of September, and I still think the first week of October is susceptible. So this doesn't surprise me. And I think, we haven't gotten, if we go to the 1 day, we just have not gotten outside of, we hit this bottom on July 4th, right? That's all of July, all of August, all of September. We have not broken this line of support. That's a pretty strong line of support. We tested it 3 out of 4 days here, so this is really one retest. We're close to retesting it again, but it seems like this line is holding. This line seems very strong. And like I said, we're well now into our bearish crossover on the MACD. So you can see at some point, when the red stops and the pink starts, if I go, so this is where the pink starts right here. That's this. So this run, this isn't even the bullish crossover. This is just still the reversal of bearish momentum while we're still in the pink. So I think we're, that's that 1 week away, I think, that we are from doing the same thing. And you can see we've had a really nice reset on the daily RSI. If I go back, you got to go all the way back to April of 2025 is the last time we've been, let's see. Yeah, that's the last time we've been this low, and that's just about as low as we went. We actually went a little bit lower. So, maybe a little bit of a pullback over the next couple of days like we've been talking about. But then I think, it's up from there. So this chart doesn't look like something that's about to crash to 100 or to points below that. Obviously, anything can happen. So, who knows? So this is a pretty close poll. So vote if you can. Smash the like button if you can. We're at 81 likes. Thank you guys so much for hitting the like button. It's really the only thing that gets us in the algorithm. And so thank you everybody for joining us. Thanks for watching. We got a lot more to talk about. I'm going to go take a look at what the Bitcoin miners did this week. You got a quick topic, George, you want to hit in the middle?
No, not really. As you do that, though, I'll think of something.
Okay, so
XRP is still the best second coin out there. Just so you guys know. There's been so much adoption this week. There's so much going on. You guys just got to research it. XRP is amazing, though.
I got some XRP stuff coming at us too.
Yeah, Sour just did it for me. The stream started getting messed up.
Oh, it did? Uh-oh.
Yeah. I turned it off, so thinking it was on my end, but yeah, it started getting all messed up. It's funny. It's really funny. We broke up to 155 and then it got all messed up and then it started going.
I saw that. The second we hit 155,
they shut it down. Yep.
It's like, it's just
they do it on purpose.
Unbelievable. Well, let's hit the like button. They can't silence us. We cannot be silenced.
You know what we should do is come up for like a new category for people. You know how there's all these different categories for people? We should just come up for a new category for people.
Like what kind of category?
You haven't heard of like CIS?
Oh.
And then I won't even say the other ones. We should just come up with like something for investing. Investing individuals together.
So you're investing pronouns.
Right. Yeah. Investing pronouns. you know, and do that and change it. Don't even talk about Bitcoin or anything on there.
So my pronouns are Cleanspark and Marathon.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so let's go where we were going, even though 50 people just mysteriously disappeared. Go there anyway. Let's talk about, I want to show you guys what happened this week, the month of September, which is almost over, and year to date, and where I think we're going from here. So let's take a look at some numbers. Go to the numbers. So this is...
I'm sorry, Tom. I just find that so interesting to know that they really do that. They really pat us down on the numbers.
It was within 1 second. We hit 150, yes, then 154, and then instantaneously the stream broke up.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're like, "Oh, brother, we got to do something."
I don't understand.
I do.
It's beyond me. But congratulations for the 100 of you that are still here right now. And if you smash the like button, maybe we can turn it back around and get everybody else back in. So let's take a look at what the Bitcoin miners did this week. This doesn't look great, but I'm going to show you a big picture. Now, IREN was down 10% today. So you would think, oh, that's awful. Guess what? It's the outlier. It's up 8% on the week, even though it was a nightmare today. So IREN just continues to run. And when you see what they've done year to date, it's staggering. And if you happen to buy the dip, like I'm calling myself lucky. I made a trade on a certain day and bought all my IREN on one day at $6 and change. So that was a very lucky trade for me. And I have no intention of getting rid of it. Sour Melon Gaming has been talking about it going to 100, and there's everybody's talking about it, including one of our all-time favorite people here. So I'm going to go to that story. Remind me, I'm going to go to that story next, because all of a sudden IREN is the talk of the town. So you can see Core Scientific and Riot. Core Scientific and Riot up 1%. BitDR and TeraWolf down 1%. I mean, not much going on there. Bitcoin was down 5% this week. So that is not a good week. We're going to take a look at month to date. So even these companies, CleanSpark down 5% on a week where Bitcoin's down 5%. That's good performance. Cipher, Hive, HUT down 778. You can't complain about that on a week where Bitcoin's down 5%, especially we've seen weeks where Bitcoin was down 1% and the miners were down 30%. So, you know, to be basically on par with Bitcoin is okay. We're in the middle of a nice stretch. The two that underperformed, Marathon continues to underperform. BitDR is down, or Bitfarms is the worst performer, down 19%. But I want to put that into perspective. So down 19% this week. But if you look at, it was up 40% last week. And 73% the week before that. So Bitfarms has been on a rampage. And I'll just show you, well, we kind of looked at this chart earlier. We'll take a quick look at it again. Right? In this short window, from the bottom top, that was 182% run up in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's pulled back a little, but it hasn't even gotten to, it has not gotten into, this is where I expect it to go. To me, this would be the natural range for it to pull back, reset the daily RSI. We're about to have a bearish crossover. So I do expect it to get deep into this box, which means it could get down close to $2 again. But I think that will be a total reset. And for me and my, again, not financial advice, I'll be buying then.
So Tom, where do you think Bitfarms could go? And when do they announce? I mean, I know they announced, when are they going to do the domicile?
I don't know when that becomes official, but I think that sometime in the next 6 months, that's going to happen. The price is going to hit $5, which means trillions of dollars of institutional money will be looking at that stock that otherwise would not look at that stock. It is totally arbitrary, but there is an awful lot of funds that will not invest in a stock under $5. Now, the stock price is meaningless. Market cap is everything. So, you can do stock splits and reverse splits to make your stock price whatever you want it to be. So I don't know why that arbitrary rule still exists to this day, but it does. Sour Mountain Gaming is saying the stream is tweaking out right now.
Yeah, it just did it again. We popped way up, and then they brought it way back down again.
It's crazy.
And then the stream
what can we do? What can we do to
just
counter?
Nothing we can do.
We're just
tell people to come back, and we're going to tell them about some arbitrage that you're
That's
going to want
right.
to be
We
here
got
for.
we got the
Could
world.
Could be the best thing that Tom learned. Some arbitrage. If you don't know what arbitrage means, look it up. You'll be happy you looked it up.
Or just hang out for a few minutes because we're going to talk about it. Let's get back. Let's finish up looking at what the Bitcoin miners are doing. So just to put in perspective, 70 Bitfarms up 73% a couple of weeks ago, up 40% last week. So yes, it pulled back 19%, but it's still up huge. So I don't view this as a bad week. We've been getting spoiled. We've been used to having great week after great week, and actually great month after great month. So I'm going to go month to date. This is the month of September. This is a spectacular month for the Bitcoin miners. If you look at Bitcoin, it's up 1%. So this is that month that's usually the worst month of the year for Bitcoin, and it's usually red and all that stuff. I felt pretty good about Bitcoin coming into September. Now, it's right on the brink. It's up 1%. So it is in the green, but it's really close. Marathon is the only stock that's not performing well in September. And it's performing identical to Bitcoin, up 1%. Then you jump. This is a 14x is the next closest, right? Bitcoin up 1%. BitDR's up 14%. TeraWolf 15%, but this is nothing. Go to the top of the list. Bitfarms up 90% this month. IREN's up 50% this month. And to put it in perspective, IREN was up 64% last month. So on top of that, it's up another 58% this month. I mean, that compounds. And when we go to year to date, you're going to see just how much that compounds. I want to get to Sour Mountain Gaming, who said, Tom, you've been at 21.1 subs for over a year. Some very powerful people want this channel to go down. Keep preaching, brother. Happy 31 months. Thank you. Thanks for sticking with us for 31 months. And you're right. Somebody out there obviously is throwing, they're even throwing the brakes on mid-stream. It's bizarre. We're not
So as we do that, just a little side note, Tom. Tom and I started this 4 years ago now, Tom?
Over 4.5 years ago.
Over 4.5 years ago, when we realized what was going down with Bitcoin and the financial, opportunities that were out there. But here's what Tim doesn't talk about. I know of I'll just say over 10 people, I'll keep it very conservative, over 10 people that have become millionaires because of this channel. So congratulations if you're one of them. And I don't think it's over with. I think it's just the beginning. But that money would be in the hedge funds' pockets if we didn't do this channel.
That's right.
That's how powerful this channel is. And that pisses them off. And people go, well, they have enough money. Do you think they want more? Oh, yes, they do. They want all of it.
They want all the money. They don't want anybody else to succeed. And most retail investors do fail. It's overwhelming.
Was it Rockefeller that said it? How much money is enough? Do you remember the answer?
It's never enough.
No, just $1 more. Sorry.
I know once. It's a phenomenon. It is for most people, regardless of how much they have, it's never enough. And, that's
So the
fine.
rarity, I feel I'm great. I don't need nothing.
The thing is, that's fine. They can do that. But if we stay strong, we can get our piece. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the point.
Like, I don't think we will ever, I don't care what anybody says, I don't think we'll ever see XRP sub $1.
Sub $1?
Bet,
no way.
there's a chance that we might see BTC sub 100,000, but I think a lot of things have to happen for that to happen.
And that's striking distance from here. But again, it's been the volatility of Bitcoin has had a fundamental change, and it's making it's going to increase adoption dramatically. And there's a lot of things that are increasing adoption. So let me get to talk about the rest of September, and then we'll move on. IREN, so Bitfarms up 90%, IREN up 58%, Cipher up 50%, Cleanspark up 37%, right? Cleanspark is still a stock that feels like, man, this stock isn't doing anything. It's up 37% in September. RIOT 29%, and that has been very consistent. RIOT has pretty close to pulled a double. It is right now, RIOT is at $17.69. So it was at $9.00, somewhere around 100 to 115 days ago. So $18 would be a double. So it's basically doubled, and it didn't do it like Bitfarms, and it didn't do it like IREN, where it just skyrocketed in 1 week. It's just been going up and up and up, while Marathon goes sideways and sideways and sideways. RIOT is up every week. So, and people are jumping on board RIOT as well. So that's the next couple of things we're going to look at is IREN and RIOT. I got some articles about that. So you can see even these in the middle. I mean, Hot up 24%, Hive 19%, Core 17, everything. This was a great month. Proportionally, it was really even, well, this was a great month, right? Bitcoin was down 4%, and you still had TeraWolf up 83%, IREN up 64%. This is last month. This was August. Cipher 40, Hive 38. So and then go back to July. July, all green. Go back to June, green with big, big numbers. Go back to May, green with big numbers. Go back to April, green with big numbers. We're April, May, June, July, August, September into the Bitcoin miners performing very well, which is why if you've bought and held and dollar cost averaged in, you've been minting money for the last 5 months. And I think we keep going from here because I don't even really think we've started the real run yet. That's obviously just my personal opinion. So if we go to year to date, so this chart 100 days into the year, every single Bitcoin was down 10%. CleanSpark was down 20%. All the rest of the Bitcoin miners were down between 30 and 60% year to date, 100 days into the year. So every single one deep in the red. IREN's up 326% year to date. It was down 50%. Now it's up 326%. Cipher's up 147%. We're going to talk about them. They got a big deal yesterday. TeraWolf got a big deal a couple of months ago. They're up 91% year to date. RIOT 73% year to date. Bitfarms 70%. Hot 62%. Let me put it in perspective. We had 6 months of conversations about when is Bitfarms going to do a reverse stock split because their stock's never going to get back to $1. And it was at $3.50 a couple of days ago. So that's how well these things have been doing. And you'll see Bitcoin's had a very modest year. After back-to-back years of being up over 100%, it's only up 17% year to date. I still do think this is going to run to 50% by the end of the year. So I do think the fourth quarter is going to be very strong. It's typical.
And with Bitfarms, sorry, Tom, I just want to get this out there.
Yeah.
We told them exactly what to do. We'll never get the credit, but I know for a fact they implemented the George plan. I know for a effing fact, I want to swear so bad, that they implemented the George plan and did exactly what I said to do. I bet you they paid somebody, some investor, group, $10 million freaking dollars, those piece of crap. We told them exactly what to do, change domicile to the United States. And they should still do one other thing. They need to get a pretty face and invest for, to get their marketing reports and stuff like that out.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's a guy or a girl, just a pretty face. No offense, Ben. You know what I mean?
Ben looks more like he's hard at work.
Yeah. But it's like when somebody says, "Oh, let's go to dinner," you know how women take time to get ready? Guys walk out the door. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
We don't care. But Tom, I've changed my mind on Bitfarms. I think Bitfarms next year. Are you going to ready?
Yeah.
I think it's going to get really close to $10 again.
$9.36, I think, is its all-time high. So
yeah,
I can see that happening. That's not unreasonable.
No. And so right there, that could be, an unbelievable run from, what's that, a 4X from here?
Yeah.
Or 3X?
Yeah. No, it's a 4X from here.
Yeah, 4X from here. But,
because it's pulled back a little bit.
Again, remember, do your own work and make sure that, we're not out of our ever-loving minds, because none of this could be true or all of it could be true, and it's not financial advice.
Sour Melon Gaming, my IREN position alone is multiple seven figures. Congratulations, Sour Melon Gaming. And I know that's not the first great play that you've made. I know you minted money on TerraWolf as well. So this is what I'm saying. Patience pays off. All of the, and it's maybe not fair to say all of these. Most of these companies are going to get their turn. Some of them haven't got their turn yet. So, rotating. Here's what people tend to do. They go, Marathon's doing nothing and IREN's on fire. Let me sell my Marathon and buy IREN. Well, IREN's already up 326%. Are you late? Yes.
I don't know about that, Tom.
Marathon. Well, it doesn't mean it's not going to go up more, but in the time IREN's up 326%, Marathon's down 4%. Marathon used to be, I'm going to do the math, times 5 times 6, 34 times bigger market cap than IREN. And IREN is now double the market cap of Marathon. And I'm not talking 50 years ago. I'm talking 20 months ago. So IREN got its run. Marathon hasn't gotten its run. And it will, I believe. And thank
Looking
you,
at your poll,
Malik.
Tom, I think the 3, it makes sense. It might not retest 100, but retest 107, already bottomed, 41%. New all-time high, 9%. So 50%
That's actually
of people.
50%.
Yeah.
Another 50-50 poll. But that's encouraging. And I think you guys are right. I think, even if we do go bounce off of 107, or even if we go to 100, and I just don't see that, I think it's a quick bounce, and that it's just a reset and we run from there. That's what it feels like. So we can end this poll. We're at 91 likes, but we got to keep smashing the like button because they keep ruining our stream somehow. It's bizarre. So let's get to some of these articles I've been talking about, because there's stuff going on in the Bitcoin miners this week. So I'm going to start with Cipher. Cipher Mining signs 168 megawatt 10-year AI hosting agreement with FluidStack. Now, behind the scenes of all of this, if you can read that, Google backstops 1.4 billion of FluidStack's obligations and receives a 5.4% equity stake in Cipher. So Google is now a major shareholder of Cipher. Do I mind being in the same stock as Google? That feels like a good thing. So, and I'm not actually in Cipher, and Cipher has ran up significantly, but it did not get a monumental bounce on this. And there's a reason why. They went and did something pretty much the same day or the next day. So this was September 25th. This was yesterday, Sourmelon Gaming, where I was finding the channel versus now is wild. You're just saying they're just not showing it.
Pot it down.
Yeah, I don't get it. We're going to keep doing our thing. We're going to figure out a way to get people back here.
Yeah, we're not really out there marketing. I mean, Tom and I both have lives, and we don't really,
This is our spare time gig.
I have to and I'm sorry, Tom, I have to say this. This is outside of Tom's comfort zone. You guys need to understand this. This is like so outside of Tom's comfort zone that he's done. This is his exact opposite,
It's true.
Sorry, Tom.
No, you speak the truth. If everybody that knows me would have guessed that I would be the last person on earth to be talking on YouTube. But here we are, because you know what? George and I both felt passionately that there was something to be said. And so we did it. And we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I was wondering what Edmund was today. Edmund can't take the abuse, I guess.
I feel bad for Edmund, and I've got some articles on that too, because there's some we gotta get to all this stuff, because there's some really good stuff out there right now. And so let's get to it. So the first thing, Cipher. So this is a 168 megawatt deal. It's a 10-year deal. The agreement represents approximately $3 billion in contracted revenue over the initial 10-year term, but it includes 2 5-year extension options. If exercised, these extension options would bring the total contract revenue to $7 billion. Now, that would be spread out over 20 years, but still, that's a significant amount of money per year. And the $3 billion times 10 years, that's $300 million a year. That's going to be half their revenue. And remember, this is much drastically higher gross profit stuff than Bitcoin mining.
I have to read this. AI rules that IREN, who is that? Is that Prager? The CEO, Prager, is betting that they're going to $1,800 a share.
Wow. Well, then I guess
what would the market cap be at that time?
It would be about $100 billion. $100
billion?
Yeah.
That's not $100 billion doesn't really seem like that much anymore, Tom.
The biggest market cap in the history of Bitcoin mining is IREN today at 11 billion. It used to be 9 billion.
Right.
You're talking about 10xing the biggest ever. It might happen, because guess what? These aren't just Bitcoin miners anymore. They're Bitcoin and AI plays. So they have diverse revenue streams. When one's doing maybe not so well, the other one will still be there going strong. These are bigger, better, massive amounts of infrastructure has been put in place into these companies that did not exist 4 years ago. None of these companies were infrastructure companies 4 years ago. They're all infrastructure companies now. So, and they're all energy infrastructure companies. And whether AI takes off or not, we know for a fact in the United States, our grid is woefully behind. So having access to energy is going to be worth its weight in gold for the indefinite future, in my opinion. Which is why I said earlier, I'm more bullish than I ever have been. And because these are now a double play on two things that I think are both going to do very well. So,
And Tom, and the whole AI thing just happened. You know what I mean? And they're out in front of everybody, the Bitcoin miners.
the Bitcoin miners, just, you can call it luck, being in the right place at the right time, whatever the case may be. They changed their business model several years ago to become infrastructure plays so that they could be vertically integrated and not have to rely, because their number one cost, and it's not by a little, it's the vast majority of their cost, is power. So what did they do? They became power companies. And now what is every AI company looking for? Power. So it's a natural, I will admit, I was late to the party, but I'm there now, because now I'm looking at the grid and saying, whether it's AI or not, our grid is just not good in the United States. And so anybody that's bringing new high level technology energy online, they're going to win one way or the other. Right? Riot straight up wins by just selling it to the state of Texas. They just turn their machines off and they get paid money.
The Prager must be the CEO of Wolf then. Is that who it is?
He's the CEO of Wolf, yes.
Right. Yeah, I don't really know much about IREN. I didn't buy any.
I will say, I sold IREN a couple years ago, and
me too.
I was I bought it back at virtually the exact right moment, which was lucky. And I can tell you, it's not like I get lucky every time. I've had just as many times where I'm kicking myself. I pointed out, I think to the members only, I sold Palantir at like $18 or $20. It's at $180 a year later. So I got that one wrong. But fortunately, for IREN, that one's gone right for me. And I think there's a ways to go from here. And this also takes that crypto winter even more so out of the equation. So I think it's a double whammy. Number one, I don't think there's any chance, and I shouldn't say it out loud, but I don't think there's any chance that Bitcoin pulls back 75 to 85%, which it's done in every single cycle prior to this. So that was business as usual, but this is a new business model. So that's gone. You can forget about that. And that doesn't mean some of the altcoins won't do that, because they'll run, they'll 50x, and then, that's pretty easy to pull back 85% after that. So the altcoin's a different story. Bitcoin, Ethereum, the top 10, 15, 20 coins, I don't think they're going to experience those monumental swings. And that doesn't mean they won't have bear markets. But I think a bear market is going to look more like a 40% pullback. And that's a big difference between a 40% pullback and an 85% pullback.
400% pullback.
Yeah, I mean, so that's one half of the equation. The other half of the equation is, while maybe the cryptocurrency is pulling back, they're now all energy companies selling energy, be it directly selling the energy or through high performance computing and AI. So that revenue stream, you can see, like this contract isn't going anywhere. This is a 10-year contract, and it's got 2 5-year extensions. So, that's $300 million a year of revenue. And my guess is that's 90% gross profit type revenue. So that's really good stuff. It's going to even these companies out. These are going to become long-term plays, and they have never been long-term plays. They've been the ultimate cyclical stocks. But we're in a new day. Starman Gaming, let's just start calling these the AI miners. Yeah, the reality is that's what's happening. There's no separating the two anymore. The last real standout, and I know Riot or Marathon hasn't really loudly embraced, but they've talked about it many times. But we have CleanSpark. So I'm going to get to CleanSpark. Let me finish with Cipher, and then I'm going to go to CleanSpark because they are embracing AI. And they were a holdout. Remember, they were adamant. We are a 100% pure play Bitcoin mining company. And I do think that's why there was a change at the CEO position, because Matt had different ideas, and he has been very vocal that they are all about AI now. Not that they're abandoning Bitcoin. They're still they're at 50 exahash, and they plan on growing to 60 exahash. So they still have a huge Bitcoin mining operation, but they're going to complement that with a big high performance computing energy data center. Okay, so Cipher, on the very same day that they got a multi-billion-dollar contract, Cipher Mining announces pricing of upsized private offering. This was an $800 million private offering. And as is almost always the case with the Bitcoin miners, every time they do an offering, the demand far exceeds the supply, and they get upsized. So this ended up being a $1.1 billion 0% convertible senior note. So $1.1 billion on a company whose market cap is only somewhere around $4.5 billion. That is a significant. So today, Cipher actually ended up down only 1.6% today. And yeah, I mean, so because it's convertible debt, it's dilutive. It's dilutive, I think, at $16 a share, and you can see they're trading at $11.50. So, there's a nice premium built in there, but ultimately, this will probably be dilutive to the tune of $1 billion. And if we look right now at their market cap, right, they're about a $4.5 billion company. So they're about to take on for what the time will be convertible debt to the tune of $1.1 billion. So what does that allow them to do? Grow massively, right? That's a massive influx of money for them to grow out their high performance computing. And they have been roll to the present. So Cipher, you'll see in May, they were at 13.5 exahash. They're now at 23 exahash as of August. So they've added almost 10 exahash of Bitcoin mining. Now they just got $1.1 billion. They're going to be able to grow their Bitcoin mining. They're going to be able to grow their infrastructure for high performance computing. It's on for Cipher. Now, the only thing I would say is if we go back here, it's already up 147% this year. So some of that is built in. But look at IREN, right? IREN doesn't have one of those big deals like Cipher and TeraWulf do, and they're up substantially more. So the room to the upside, George, like you said, I said, it'll be $100 billion market cap. And that seems like madness, but maybe that's not madness. When I look at here, this will put things in perspective. Palantir's a $421 billion market cap. Their PE ratio, these guys make pennies. Their PE ratio is 592. That's right. Right, we're used to seeing 15, 25, 35. Some tech stocks get up into 40 or 50. Amazon has been typically very high over the years. as high as in the 60s or more. This is 600. So that's why I sold it at 20, because I'm looking at it going, well, they're going to make 2 cents next year and they're trading at $20. It doesn't make sense. But guess what happened? They went the other way and 8x'd from where I sold them. So you don't know how high these can go, right? Here's a $421 billion market cap company. Could one of the Bitcoin mining companies scale up to this size? I guess. I never would have guessed Palantir would have, and it did, and it did quickly. It did this quickly, right? I mean, this was at $37 a year ago. It's at $183 after hours.
That's what I want to see for Marathon.
Right. And so there's a company that has the same potential. You don't know. And so if you go back, let me go to Marathon. It's the same scenario, and I'm not making the same mistake twice, although I've made it probably 20 times in my investing career. You're sitting here, Marathon, at a $6 billion market cap. It would be nothing for Marathon to be a $60 billion market cap. That's a 10x. Right? We just looked at Palantir, which is a $420 billion market cap. I'm talking about Marathon going from 6 to 60. That's not crazy talk.
Tom, this is just between Tom and I, but if you guys remind me on the stream, I'll tell you about it. Do you know our thing did another reverse split?
Oh.
And it's down even more. I mean,
it's incredible.
It'd be worth over 20-some million right now, maybe even 30.
And I don't know what.
And I don't even know. It might have to be. You guys, we have a Discord. Please join.
Yes.
That's just, what are we doing? And neither one of us did it.
No, and we talked about it. We sat down. I mean, we just sat down and it was so obvious. We had like a turn your phone off, closed door meeting.
Tom,
and we would have liked,
Tom,
what, like 600x our money by now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 4 years later, and it's still the same.
It's amazing.
And I don't think it's going anything. I think it's going to continue to do the same thing. I don't see how it's changing.
Sorry, guys. This is one we can't even talk about on our regular open stream because you think they're mad at us for talking about Bitcoin. If we mention this, forget it.
Oh, it's like we were so scared.
But to put it in perspective, you got, I mean, a company like IREN, which clearly now they're at 50 exahash of Bitcoin mining, and they don't even talk about Bitcoin mining. On their homepage, you will not find the word Bitcoin anywhere. You have to go to investor relations. That's the only place on their entire website they talk about the fact that the vast majority of what they do is mine Bitcoin. They're out there selling high performance computing. This is now an $11 billion market cap. It closed at 43. It's been as high as 49. So this 10x's and goes to $110 billion market cap. Could that happen for an AI play in an AI bubble in a power hungry world? And remember, this is the company that said a year and a half and 2 years ago, we don't consider ourselves a Bitcoin mining company. And it really irked me because 100% of their revenue came from Bitcoin mining when their CEO said that. And, you know, I felt like you got a lot of nerve saying you're not a Bitcoin mining company when 100% of your revenue comes from Bitcoin mining. But he said, our expertise is in data centers. We're better at this than everybody else. We're going to build more of it than everybody else, and we're going to make more money than everybody else. And it took a while, but the market now believes them. And they are now by far the largest market cap Bitcoin miner instead of being at one point the smallest out of the like 12 or 13 that we were following. They went from the smallest to the largest. So
Wonder if we should
go ahead.
I wonder if you could do like a paid for video on that and charge like $50 a piece.
On IREN?
You know what?
Oh, no, dude.
I
You
don't think
can
we
never
can.
say that out loud.
Yeah,
ever.
I don't think we can. It is the most amazing thing ever in the stock market, and it is, and it's just, and we can't, and what Tom discovered, we can't know about.
Right.
And it's just one of those things. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. It makes no sense. And here's you guys will never figure it out. It was Tom spent like literally 6 months researching the stock market and understanding it before we even went to Bitcoin miners and understanding what was going on. Which we tried to become a Bitcoin miner. That's a story from another day.
Yeah, and stupid. You live in the only town in Georgia that wasn't on board with that.
Yep.
It's absolutely incredible. We were 100% set to go. Anyway, that's a horse of a different color. Robert Anderson is saying the bubble isn't bursting soon, considering it is propping up the entire market. I agree. Forget the bubble bursting. I don't even think we've gotten to the bubble part of this bubble yet. Like, if you look at bubbles, if you look at the EV bubble, if you go back, obviously the ultimate example was the tech bubble of 2000. Quantum computing bubble, the 3D printing bubble, and some of these stocks are going to come around someday, but the hydrogen energy stock bubble, I mean, all of those things went ballistic, and those were much smaller things. Now, the EV stuff was big stuff, and those went, those became, Tesla's over $1 trillion company. But the rest of those companies have either failed or are in the process of failing. But that didn't stop them from being, $100 billion plus market cap companies. And they were companies, remember, even back in the day, Fisker, Lucid, Rivian, they didn't even have a working vehicle. They do now. And, now Fisker's gone, but they do that working vehicle is owned by somebody else. And, Lucid now sells a couple of cars, and so does Rivian. But, that took a long time, and they lose money hand over fist. So these companies make money. By the way, particularly, you've got Marathon sitting on 52,000 Bitcoin. If Bitcoin doubles, Marathon doubles, right?
You think Marathon's going to double?
Marathon should double regardless of the Bitcoin that they have. They're being basically priced at, because here's an example. IREN has 0 Bitcoin. So their company's being valued at $11 billion. If you minus the Bitcoin from Marathon's market cap, it's being valued at $0. So that's how much of a correction has to occur in that stock. And again, do your own due diligence. And if you don't believe me, or if you don't believe in that company, don't buy anything you don't believe in, because you will sell it for a loss. That's just how it is. JD saying Mara's share price is stuck in the mud. It is stuck in the mud, and I don't know how long it will be stuck in the mud. What I do feel strongly about is I have a high level of conviction that at some point, every stock crosses paths with its fair market value. And in fact, it usually overshoots it by quite a bit by the time it's done. So I don't know when that is, right? Playing the what if game is just You're just guessing. End that poll. Let me get to CleanSpark. Let me get to a couple of pieces of news. I'm going to run through some stuff quickly because there was a lot of stuff that went on. So on September 22nd, CleanSpark expands capital strategy with $100 million Bitcoin-backed credit capacity from Coinbase Prime. Now, they already had a line of credit at Coinbase Prime. They increased it by $100 million. They have triple the Bitcoin required to secure their entire loan, their entire line of credit, if it was 100% drawn, and it's almost 0% drawn right now. So a lot of people are talking about, CleanSpark's almost 1 year into not doing any at the market offerings and no stock dilution. And people were scratching their head on the members only stream and on last Friday's stream. How the heck are they going to get to 60 exahash and grow their AI? Where's the money going to come from? They're about to hit us with another at the market offering and we're all going to get crushed again. Well, no, they have this $100 million, but wait, there's more. 3 days later, they announced CleanSpark opens a $100 million Bitcoin-backed credit facility with 2 Prime. We are excited to add $100 million in, and they say it out loud because they know it. We are excited to add $100 million in non-dilutive financing with 2 Prime to our mature capital stack. So altogether, they have $400 million in lines of credit, $200 million of which they just got this week. So how are they going to grow? That's how they're going to grow. $400 million does go a long way in this business. So I expect them to achieve their benchmarks. They've done nothing but do what they said they were going to do for the last several years. This company performs at a high level. The stock is lagging behind, which is why you guys voted this the most likely to succeed stock from now till the end of the year.
My second largest holding.
This is my second highest conviction.
Yeah. Marathon
and CleanSpark to me are the two that are just so underpriced. I can't make sense of it. But I do think there's a lot of other ones that have a lot of upside as well. In fact, I want to talk about one of them right now, and that is Hive. Because Hive just announced, let's see, the 23rd. So 3 days ago. Hive Digital Technologies reaches 2% of global Bitcoin network, mining 9 Bitcoin daily and surpassing 20 exahash. Why do I point that out? Number one, because it's a press release they just put out. Number two, I want to put in perspective, and I got to check my notes. Hive, in their June operational update, announced that they had reached 10 exahash. It's now September 23rd as of this press release, and they're at 20 exahash. They have doubled the size of their computing. And remember, those are all the latest and greatest machines. So, out with the old, in with the new, they're now a much more efficient from a joules per terahash standpoint. And they've just, in 3.5 months, doubled their amount of exahash. And by the way, they said by the end of November, they're going to be at 25. So this is a sleeper. I didn't even put this on the list, but to me, I own them. I own what has turned into a big position in this because, it's doubled in size and no one's even talking about it. They're also high performance computing, right? They had CPUs before anybody did because they were mining Ethereum back when you could do that. Now those machines are long since probably worthless. But they're They're in Bitcoin mining. They're in high performance computing. They've doubled their exahash, and their stock has done very poorly versus all the other Bitcoin mining stocks. So this is another one that I'm excited about.
Well, think about that one, Tom. I got into that whenever you told me to way back when. I don't remember. It was probably was it last year sometime?
Yeah,
And that thing is crushing it for me.
that was another right place, right time, because it's pulled pretty much a double since then. So,
And you think about it, and during that time, Marathon's done nothing, and CleanSpark's done nothing.
right, and
I
Hive
mean,
is
I'm
up
up a little
100%.
bit on CleanSpark. I'm not in the red or anything.
The only thing CleanSpark's doing is getting back what it lost. I mean, it was here. Let's get real on CleanSpark, because it had a long, consistent trading range between $14 and $24. It's at $13 right now, and that's after a huge run up. This was in the $8 and $9 range.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, right? And by the way, what did they do from this period to this period? They went from 5 exahash to 50 exahash. So again, this is another stock that could easily look at the market cap on. You want to see an easy 10x?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I hate calling everything a 10x because it sounds like hyperbole, but we've seen them happen. You've got CleanSpark at a $3.6 billion market cap. 36 billion's nothing in today's market. I don't mean to scoff at $36 billion, right? That's obviously for any individual beyond life-changing money, but for corporations, 36 billion is not a large cap company. It's still a small cap company pretty much. It would be considered a medium cap company, but my point is they're a dime a dozen. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of $36 billion market cap companies that have zero revenue. They don't even have a prototype yet. So is it inconceivable that CleanSpark would get to $36 billion market cap? I don't think so. Right, and these are not my price targets, and I'm not going to hold on to every single one of these hoping for a 10x. I will have an exit strategy over the next 6 to 18 months. I will keep some of these because, like I said, I do think a lot of these have turned into long-term plays. So, but that doesn't mean you take no profits ever. So, I mean, you got to be realistic, and everybody's got to come up with their own plan, but you should have a plan. When are you going to take some profits?
And DCA out. Don't just take your profit, or take a position on them and get out instead of just taking your money
That's right.
with an option.
So Gary's saying IREN was Australian and Bitfarms was Canadian, but the reality is both of those companies conduct the vast majority of their business now in the United States. And Bitfarms made an intentional switch. They were the vast majority of their business in Canada, and now that is switched. They want to get to the point where I think they want to get to like 86% of their business in the United States, and IREN already is at that point. So
Tom, in your professional opinion, again, knowing this is not financial advice,
professional
you talked
amateur
about-
opinion.
right? You've talked about a lot of different companies. Which one do you think makes the biggest move next?
To me,
And I'll give you my opinion after yours.
I mean, I think the next one up, I still think I'm holding out for Marathon because it just hasn't gotten anything. And when these happen, when they run, they run. Even Riot, let me go to Riot and show you what I mean. Riot was a $6 stock in April. $6. So if you'd have bought this in April at the bottom, at the peak, which was 2 days ago, you'd be up 223%. On Riot, I mean, Riot is a sleeper. It feels like it hasn't done a thing. Even today, you're up 185%. So this is one of the pieces of my portfolio where I went from deeply in the red to massively in the green. Even though the stock's not back to the, price I originally started buying it at. That's the power of dollar cost averaging.
Tom, I'm saying Cleanspark. And you know why?
Why?
Matt, 2 weeks ago, said big news coming when he was at Washington, D.C. So I'm going to take him at his word and saying some big news is coming.
Well, I'm with you. If I had to pick two, they'd be Riot and Cleanspark. When we did our poll at the beginning of this, I said, I'm sorry, not Riot, Marathon and Cleanspark. Those are the two that I think haven't had their run yet. And Cleanspark has more catalysts than Marathon, unless they go out there and say something, because Cleanspark has recently switched CEOs. They have leaned, instead of dismissing AI and saying there's no chance they're ever going to do it, they're leaning into it heavily. They've got $400 million lined up to go spend on building out infrastructure. So I think there's a reason Cleanspark won that poll and got almost 50% of the votes. Cleanspark is poised for a big move to the upside, in my opinion, and in the stream's opinion, because it ran away with that poll.
What was I say? If I start doing their electric, I probably can't talk about the company anymore.
Yeah, it could be conflict of interest.
Yeah, it could be a conflict of interest.
But while Riot's done this, and more recently, so this was the range. It was somewhere around this day right here. Somewhere in late June. Right? Is this? We have to go even lower. It must have been somewhere in early June. On the very same day, within a half an hour, never simultaneously, but within a half an hour of each other, Riot, Cleanspark, and IREN were all $9.00. All on the same day, back what must have been somewhere here in June. So they were all at $9.00 within, call it an hour of each other on the very same day. Fast forward 3 months, Cleanspark's the loser at $13, Riot's at $17.69, and IREN's at $41.86. These things have taken off. So the ones that run, and the ones that haven't run yet are good. I mean, Cleanspark is one of the ones we think hasn't run. And it's true, because it's not even back to where it was. I mean, to me, until it gets back to where it was November of 2024, and to be more accurate, I think they were at about 10 exahash then. They're now at 50. And they're now at 13,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And
is that the third largest?
Of the Bitcoin miners, that's the third largest. And somebody earlier did mention it looks like HUT basically held their stack because ABTC only has like 2,400.
Oh, wow. Oh, my.
So HUT is still very much a Bitcoin play because they potentially have, we'll have to wait until their financials come out, but they may have 10,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and they own 65% of a Bitcoin mining company. So, it's not like they're a play. They're just not a direct play. The company itself does not participate in mining Bitcoin anymore. But I'm saying like this is a short term. And again, we were at 24. This is in March of 2024. And they really were probably at somewhere. You can double check me, but they were probably around 5 exahash when they were at almost $25. Now they're at 50 exahash and they're at $12.96. So room to the upside, I see all kinds of room to the upside.
Investors, possibly you.
You may be the next. And by the way,
a drum roll, please.
This is not its all-time high. Back in 2020, this was a $42 stock. Now, it was a different company back then, so I almost feel like that's apples and oranges. But this was last year. This is apples to apples. There's no sense in this.
Worldwide.
Yeah, let's talk about some of these. I see some people mentioning this. I want to mention just a few things real quickly. PCE came in today, held at 2.9. We were expecting 2.9. So the core personal consumption expenditures price index. So this is another inflation number. This is quote unquote the Fed's preferred number, blah, blah, blah. The core personal consumption expenditures price index showed inflation in August at 2.9% on an annual basis after rising 0.2% for the month. So if you go take a look, like this is basically what it does. And if you look, the consensus was that it was going to be up 0.2 this month. And it was up 0.2. So nothing to see on the inflation front. We keep talking about this inflation boogeyman, but where is it? I mean, how many months of plausible deniability can you have? We're about to be in October. These tariffs started in the second day of April. So if you go to the Fed Watch tool, we're at 90% chance of a rate cut in the, this is the December meeting. Let me go to the October. We're at, it's the same.
And just so everybody knows, eggs are 24 cents a piece at Kroger. So
nice.
Down from like 90 some cents.
So this says at a 90% chance of a rate cut in the October meeting. We'll see what happens. I'm very confident in a rate cut. We just got one.
Yeah, but
we
it's
need
only
another
going to be 0.25.
It'll probably only be 0.25, and this is all too little too late, but dude, it's also better late than never.
If that's 0.5, dude, wow. Hang on. It's a rocket ship.
Oh, I agree.
Cutting deals. Did you read what Bassett said about the Federal Reserve?
No.
He released a big report on it on Thursday. And Scott Bassett. It was a real interesting read. But basically, it was the Fed has outlived its usefulness. It's not being used for what was intended to be used for.
Well, and its use changed dramatically.
Yes.
When we came off of the gold standard first. I'm going way back to the 70s when we came off of the gold standard. That changed how money works altogether. And during COVID, obviously, they rained so much money and racked up so much debt that, we're living in a very strange time.
Well, and I think October 1st will be, I hate to say this because I won't say what I want to say, 10/1/2025 for the United States will be an amazing day. And it will go down in history, and things are going to happen that people don't even realize what's happening.
October 1st, you're calling it.
Yeah. It's amazing what's happening with all crypto, with just with the new fiscal budget starting in the United States, and it's going to be a different world after October 1st.
Well, I can't wait to hear and wait and see. Do we have a live stream between now and then?
I don't think so.
They're members.
No, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, oh, there you go. Okay, here's an article that came out a couple of days ago. Bitcoin miner IREN has 80% potential upside thanks to big bet on AI cloud. This is from Bernstein. So the broker, listen to this. I don't usually pay a lot of attention to these price targets from brokers because there's a lot of ulterior motives and et cetera, et cetera. But this is one of the most dramatic changes I've ever seen. The broker hiked its IREN price target to $75 from $20 while reiterating its outperform rating on the stock from 20 to 75, which says Bernstein thinks it's got an awful lot of room left to the upside.
I'm just so you guys know, I'm buying IREN on Monday. Just so you know, I'm buying it.
You're in.
I'm in. Yeah. If you're gonna get a 10,000 shares, not gonna go nuts. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay, so just FYI for everybody's information, as we sit here at $109,550.
They're changing Halloween to Hopper for, yeah, no.
Bitcoin, Ethereum struggle with options expiry imminent. So this was a staggering number. So I
Look
just
at
want to
that,
find
Tom. It just popped again. We just went up 30 people. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
People.
welcome everybody.
It's just so crazy. It's so crazy.
It's bizarre.
But you guys hang out. If we get to 140, we'll give you our arbitrage of the week.
Oh, that's
before
right.
we leave.
That's right.
There's an arbitrage out there, guys. This is like free money.
And More Time 27 is saying the new IREN target doesn't even take into account rising price in Bitcoin. So that's probably true.
Yeah.
Now, they don't hodl any Bitcoin, but they do mine a lot of it. The second or third most of any Bitcoin mining company. Gary Pallett, 4 analysts came out with price targets $75 to $82. The one Tom mentions is the lowest target. I actually saw one a bunch lower than that, Gary. Let me find that one. Anybody get the feeling Gary's not happy with me?
No, Gary's not. Gary's he's here to make money, Tom. That's why we're all here. And we want the facts to be known.
Let the facts be
known. And he's just giving us the facts.
I'm going to find the other. I picked the article that said 75 because the other one was like 42. Here. Riot Platforms gets double upgrade on AI pivot as JP Morgan and Citi hike targets. I think later in this one it talks about this. So JP Morgan upgraded Riot Platforms to overweight while downgrading IREN. So they actually got downgraded. So, I didn't mention that one because I think it's stupid. Citigroup also upgraded Riot. So this is where I was saying earlier, Riot is getting a lot of love. JP Morgan's upgrading them. Citigroup's upgrading them in a world where JP Morgan, I feel like, they're downgrading IREN and CleanSpark. I'm just going to say that whatever that person is doing at their desk is very different than whatever I'm doing at my desk because I can't fathom downgrading IREN and CleanSpark and upgrading Riot in their place. But I do think all of those companies are going to go up a bunch. So let me see if I can find. So for Riot, they raised their price target to $19. Citi raised Riot's price target to $24.
Do you think you'll be able to retire next year?
Be able to, or will actually do?
No, be able to.
Yeah, but I won't.
There you go, guys. If that doesn't just tell you. Damn, that's awesome, ain't it?
It is.
Well, I did a crazy number of what I thought my portfolio would look like at the end of this year, and I'm off a little bit. But here's what's crazy. I still don't think I'm wrong. How about that one?
Oh, I can't find their exact article, but I think that they lowered this to some.
All right,
they lowered it to like
investing.
a sell, some ridiculous number. They got a $20 target on Marathon.
SE, welcome to the game, brother.
Ah, yes, welcome aboard, welcome to the club.
Tuesday, 4:15, 4:20.
420 Tuesday, members only live stream. Get to talk a little more freely. You guys got a firsthand look today. Every time our viewers got to a certain number, the stream went crazy and dropped instantaneously.
It's just like insane.
3 times. It was
three times,
clockwork. All right, so we're sitting here at around $109,500. That's where we go into the weekend. To put it in perspective, we were down this week a bunch. This dotted line up here at 116,700 is where we were last Friday. Now, let me just finish this one thing I was in the middle of and I abandoned ship.
Gary, I'm going to tell you something. If you're a crabby old man, you really should join. Just do it for, if you got $5. If you got it, you might not have it, Gary. You should join the members only. Because I'll tell you what, Tuesday is totally different than, we have to have platitudes on Friday. Because you just can't talk what we believe is really going to happen. Everything we spoke today has been platitudes.
Even with that, they still cut us.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'll go to, this isn't what I was looking for, but stablecoin market could reach $4 trillion by 2030.
Oh, just the stables?
Just stable coins.
Wow.
Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it. Stablecoin market could reach $4 trillion by 2030, Citi says in revised forecast. Let me see if this had the other.
We're making a push. We might have to tell everybody.
Oh my.
We might have 124 if we get there. We got an arbitrage out there we want to tell you guys about. Maybe we should tell people what an arbitrage is.
Yes.
An arbitrage is where it's basically free money. And you get to make it.
An arbitrage, in the context that we're talking about, is the difference between the implied if there's an all stock purchase, merger, buyout, whatever you want to call it, you can imply a stock price based on the stock trade that's going to happen. And in this instance, usually there's a little bit of arbitrage on the table, 2%, 3%. Sometimes like there's 9 or 10%, which is a golden opportunity. This time it was like 300% and closing rapidly. So We'll see what happens.
Listen to the private stream from this last Tuesday. It's on there because it doesn't look like we're going to talk about it.
Looking ahead, $17 billion worth of Bitcoin options expire tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is today because this article is 1 day old. So $17 billion expire. But here's the important part. Sorry. Max pain price, the level at which option holders would experience the most financial loss. So, of course, obviously, the house is always shooting to hit max pain target price. So today, that was $110,000. So there's on $17 billion of options that are expiring today. Max pain was $110,000 for Bitcoin. And what are we at? $109,550. In the middle of the day, we did hit $110,000. So that goes to show you, like, stuff like this is going on in the background. You may think, oh, Bitcoin's crashing and it all has to do with $17 billion in options that are expiring, and the max pain number's 110. So they push.
I mean, it has to close below 110?
Anywhere plus or minus 110 is where the group of investors in its entirety loses the most money.
Plus or minus 500?
Yeah, I mean, the closer the better. I mean,
okay.
It's not like it's a binary thing. Like if it doesn't hit that, everybody's okay. The closer they get to that number, the more pain, i.e. the more money they lose. Welcome, Chris. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Talkin' Investing Squad. Like George said, you might want to first definitely join us next Tuesday, but you might want to go check out last Tuesday's.
Do you want to, Tom,
stream.
do you want to do this? We're stay on for another 5 minutes every time we get a new member? Or no, you can't do it.
Whatever you want to do.
I mean, it's fun to do. I mean, we haven't done it. We did that in the beginning. We used to do these fun little things.
I know. We got, everybody got so depressed at the price action. But you know what? It's time to stop being depressed, because I'm going to go back to this chart. And let's just take a look. September. All green. This is the Bitcoin miners. This is September. This is August. Right, so the number one Bitcoin miner in September was Bitfarms, up 90%. The number one Bitcoin miner in August was TeraWolf, up 83%. The number one Bitcoin miner in July was Bitfarms, up 50%. The number one Bitcoin miner in June was IREN, up 74%. May, IREN, up 37%. April, Bitfarms, up 26%. Almost every single Bitcoin miner has been in the green and outperforming Bitcoin almost every single month of this year since April, up to and including this month, where literally everyone is outperforming Bitcoin other than Marathon, which is tied. The next closest one is doing a 14x of what Bitcoin did this month. So these are good times, and I think they're going to get better. So now we should definitely switch gears into happy mode.
But Sour, what happens is we start talking about the Bills.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying right now they're the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl. They're ESPN's number one in the power ranking, and Josh Allen is USA Today's number one ranked quarterback in the NFL.
Wow.
So that's my
Maybe this is our year, Tom.
Hey, listen, if we can't win the Super Bowl, we can at least enjoy the middle of the year where people think we're good.
Hey, I'm going to the game in Atlanta. They're playing Atlanta this year. On the 12th,
nice.
October 12th.
That's a good one. They need that one.
Yeah, I got invited to the GE box.
Oh, sweet.
GE Capital. If you need to finance your business, try GE Capital.
Brought to you by
fun. It's dude. Have you noticed, Tom? And I'm just asking for a friend, that a lot of people have died this year.
Like famous people or
Just like people around you, that like a lot of people have died. Like, or no,
I've been
not really.
noticing that the last 3 or 4 years.
No, this year for us, like it just for me, it accelerated. It's been crazy. It's like I get a phone call like every other week, and somebody's died. I'm 57. I'm not that old, you know.
Yeah, it's not time. There's certainly not time for that. All right, I'm going to wrap a bow around this IREN conversation because here's the ultimate. You want to know how IREN's going to do? Jim Cramer calls IREN too hot. Jim Cramer says, Cramer mentioned the stock recent rally as he commented, quote, there are other companies like IREN, which make power centers for Bitcoin mining and is looking to pivot to AI data centers. Hey, listen, CoreWeave took that strategy. IREN is actually profitable, but its stock has rallied 380% too hot. So if you believe in the reverse Cramer, Jim Cramer called it out. But that just goes to show you, I mean, this is even getting mentioned on
a major show, major network.
What's his stupid show called? Not that it's stupid.
What station's he on anyways?
CNBC.
CNBC.
So anyway, everybody's talking about Riot. Everybody's talking about IREN. This pivot to high performance computing is okay. JP Morgan upgrades Riot and downgrades IREN and CleanSpark. This is where I think they give their price target. Okay, so here you've got, this is how ridiculous things get. JP Morgan, one of the largest financial institutions in the world, has a price target for IREN of $24. It's at 40-something dollars right now. So that's how much of a spectrum. And that's why I led all this by saying I don't put a lot of stock into what these people say, because I can't know what's in this person's brain. But my guess is they do not believe that IREN 1-year price target is actually $24. That's just my guess, right? I'll never know what's in that person's brain. And this is what they've said and written on paper, $24. They got Cipher at a price target of $12. They got Riot at a price target of $19. CleanSpark at a price target of $14. So they think that, and they got Marathon at a price target of $20. So basically, JP Morgan continues their hate towards Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners and basically thinks they're all going to be garbage for the next year. So there you go. That's our from the desks over at JP Morgan. Again, they're one of the largest financial institutions in the world.
Tom, I guess we can call it.
All right, George, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks to our new members. Special thanks, of course, to our existing members, all of our subscribers, to the 122 people that smashed the like button. Have a great weekend. And I got to say it, go Bitcoin and go Bills.
Remember, the Bills make me want to shout.
Shout.
See you.